Almost there. Alright, here we are now. We're at the end. I'm going to take one more stitch because you can see I have another stitch worth until I get to my blue guideline. Now we have to do a double fold. This isn't a very acute angle. It's sort of wide, so it doesn't require too much. So I'm going to do one fold down. You see how it goes straight across? The point is right there. And holding it with your thumb, you can do a second fold. And you're going to tuck it in. I always think of it like a bed corner. You see that? Holding that still, take one more stitch right at the end. And that was easy. And then just applique your way up the next long side. Turning as you go. No need to turn more than you have. And cut. And Carlos can cut. Okay, so now we're up to the curve and to the innie part. So I'm just going to resume my applique from up here. Again, I'll show you how to start it. You're going to needle turn it with your needle. Come from the back to hide your knot. Just get in the very edge. And so smaller stitches. And this is why using a longer needle is so great. And while using the silk thread, you can see it just blends right in because it matches perfectly. You're not quite there, and all the time pulling it out, tucking it in as needed. Okay, you see I'm getting very close to the innie portion, and so I cannot turn this without affecting the other side. So now we're ready to take a snip. I'm going to just take one snip, but not all the way, if you notice, not all the way. Because you can only take one snip that goes all the way in. I'm just going to snip it enough so I can turn this without affecting the other side of the heart. If you take too many snips into that middle portion, you're going to end up getting a lot of fray, and you're going to be very unhappy with your applique. Only one snip allowed. So I'm just taking small stitches, only needle turning as much as I can for a couple of stitches. You'll notice that when you start appliquing, that the quality of fabric you choose is going to make a huge difference, because the better the weave, the better your applique is going to turn out. If you end up getting all that fabric that has a very loose weave, you're going to be very unhappy. This keeps pulling. So sometimes it's better to spend a little bit more on some great quilter's cotton. I think I could take one more stitch, and now I can only take one more snip, and this is going to be it for the snips. Right into the corner. And that's it. I'm just going to tuck that, continue into the innie, continue in, continue breathing. I know this is very stressful. I know quilting is supposed to be relaxing. Almost there. Very exciting. Hold on. Getting there. Almost there. Alright, now that I'm almost there, I'm going to stop. Take this pin away. I'm actually going to snip some of this because it's a little bit big. I'm going to flip the other side and then swoop a little, and that's it. Don't touch it anymore, or you will get fray. A couple more stitches up the other side. Phew, and now you're on your way, which I think I sewed my finger. And that's it. And now you just continue doing your circle, your round applique. I'll take a breath there. Okay, so to summarize what we have just completed, we transferred the design using a heart plastic template, and we transfer this design onto a yellow fabric and then applique that onto the green background. And for a simple design, I explained that using plastic is a great way to transfer your design. But now I'm going to show you something more complex. And I showed you that little the flower before. Here's a piece that I'm working on, and I want to share this with you. These petals have to get transferred on. And the way I do that is using the sarrel paper. This is the design that I have. You see it's been well worn. I'm almost at the end of this part of the project. I need to trace each petal individually. And the way I do that, you see I just have a little bit of piece of this fabric left. And you have my fabric. I have these petals, which have to go on. And rather than taking a piece of plastic and making a template for each and every one of these, I keep this intact, and you can draw any picture you like. You take a piece of your sarrel paper, and this is how we use it. It's a chalk paper almost, and so one side is flat and the other side has the color that transfers off. I slip it underneath. So I have the fabric, the sarrel paper, and the design. And using a hero marker, which is a plastic marking tool, I simply put pressure over the lines I want to trace, and then it transfers through. And you see right there, look how beautiful that is. With no cutting, easy transfer design, and it's all non-permanent. So now with my scissors, I'm actually going to cut one of these out. And here, because these are so small, I just use a scant 1/8, 16th of an inch. I'm just going to cut a little bit, and a little bit. I'm going to actually cut my innie now and be done with this. And for placement, this one's going to go right here. I'm going to take just one of my applique pins and just hold this little guy in place, and I tuck it under, and that's where I come in from the back. I hold it with my thumb, and then I tuck the next side up. Petals are so forgiving because they're in nature and they don't have to be perfect. Come up from the bottom and grab the very, very edge. Come up from the bottom, just grab the edge. Small stitches, one at a time. Tuck as you need. This needle turn method is my favorite. It requires nothing extra of me. I can sit down anywhere and just get to work. Transferring a design either using plastic templates, which I've used for larger designs. Sometimes I even use paper if it's a one-time piece. And in this case, I transferred my design with the sarrel paper because it's a design I'm transferring over and over again in all of the corners of these applique panels. I think I'm going to take out that pin now, just since it's tacked down. Coming up and bending. But you'll see that these straw needles have a lot of flexibility. They just bend, work right with you. Great. Tuck that whole one in. See how that goes? How lovely. If it gets too much of a point, just pull it right back out. Great, so here you see an example of an applique house that I designed. Applique the foreground, applique the fence, the detail on the roof, the shadowing. You probably recognize the applique flowers in all of the corners of these panels. Scan over this other house. It's another foreground that was all applique. Embroidery around the windows, embroidered flowers. And there's another home over here. Again with the applique stone wall, applique moss roof. I'm a big appliquer, as you can tell. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope you learned a lot. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me an email, nancyellenquilts.com.